Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья.
Good evening, dear friends. Good evening. Happy to see you at the seminar, the workshop, online class today. At this new year, 2024 has come and it has declared its rights clearly so that we have opportunities we have always dreamt of. And many of you imagined to be in this year of the blue dragon. The dragon will give the greatest opportunity to everyone so that these opportunities are fulfilled for each of us. Today, we are living through particularly Nidanas, and Mr. Yara will tell about that. I'd like to draw your attention to the following point. The online class of the Secret Doctrine is normally the third aspect or the third time we are studying any Sloka. What does it mean? Firstly, we studied at the research seminar with the international scientists, and there we consider the Sloka from different points of view, angles. What Madam Blavatsky speaks about, that we transform, that we understand through the words of every speaker. We get to know every thought, and then we go to the second stage, the quizzy, when the participants ask questions with new revelations of the new layer. Normally, questions are focused on what no speaker show nor we have touched on, and the online class normally combines all the aspects of the Sloka. Probably we consider the postulates already known to us in a different view, and those of you who are with us firstly will have many new revelations probably, because every time we consider new thoughts, not repeating them. They are really complicated, I must say, but we will try. Firstly, try to describe them with different points in our attention, with different words. We will try to consider other aspects of the material we've been studying for years. Today we are considering stanza 3, Sloka 8, a great Sloka with many aspects, multidimensional one, multi-layer one, from the single source. And today we'll touch upon the 8, the combining aspect. The 8 with the above and below, with these ray and point movement, with it combining everything. These channels come to be as a result. In the human organism, it's what's happening. The sun and all the celestial bodies, they all have their source of energy in order to assimilate and transform this energy and to bring it to other elements. That is the point of the periodic evolution, because if everything were in one place, there would be no evolution, there would be stagnation and death. As we have life, as we know that life has the eternal aspect of the single, then that's what we have. Stanza 3, Sloka 8 defines so much, but as well as stanza 3, the highest plane, the plane of fire, the fiery thought, then this space of the higher mind that is the mediator and of the mind revealed, because the mind is a number. That is the very number defining the body, not only the physical one, but also the psychic one, the spiritual one, the body of the manas. It constructs it, and the thought is that what this mind gets its energy from, being in the space, it's a reflection of heart and intellect, both. These two components are based on this reflection of mind, and that's where it gets its energy from. It reflects definitely the state of human heart and intellect. The purer this energy is, the higher the mind is, the mm, less stagnant it is, and this middle of the n of number 8, that is the point, the mind, and the mind should become more flexible, not to be solidified in its defined character, but be open and take part in the exchange of this energy. Mind is the reflection of the heart and intellect. And here we must mention what goes directly to its middle point that expresses this and gives the impetus to actions of the human being. That is the thought. As a result, the thought is rapid, and the more it's aimed at and the purer its angles are, uh, the more is the opportunity it gets to the middle point, and the more light it is around it, uh, the more rays of the shining crystal are there. And here is the action that we understand, that we are aware of, and it depends on the purity of heart. We must bring up the heart to have these two aspects in this space of mind so that it's flexible. That is the thought I'd like to pronounce to express one of the angles of the stanza and sloka we're talking about today. Congratulations. Thank you so much for everyone who is with us for the first time, and we wish you your own understanding, your new revelations without losing the thought. Please try to follow the thought, do your best, because this number 8 we have today, defining sloka 8, combining it with a whole space of thought. Of course, it will primarily try to bring something to you, to be the conductor of energy and impetus, to bring it closer to reach consciousness. Congratulations, not only to those who is with us for the first time. We definitely see our constant participants who pose questions. Question answer chat is open. And as we speak, as Mr. Yari speaks, as we present our slides defining the Sloka, please don't hesitate to ask your questions. We'll definitely answer in the end. Ksenia, Perseva, and Alexander Bobko are our interpreters today. Thank you so much, and wish you a focus of your attention and Thank you so much. It's also a pleasure to work with you, and we'll do our best to bring these thoughts to you. The seminar is declared open. Happy New Year, new ideas, opportunities, and these opportunities, energies are what Mr. Yara will talk about, because Kala Chakra, as the open consciousness of the human being, opens due to its attention and penetration. Wish you best attention and fruitful work. And I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Vladimir Yary. Good evening once again. Let's start as usual from the meditative thought presented by Madame Blavatsky, and that is the following thought. Men who have not observed proper discipline and haven't gained treasure in their youth perish like old herons in a lake without fish. That is the sorrowful thought given to us so that we reflect and understand why is it here youth mentioned. That is due to the fact, as we reflect, that the skandhas define the term, very important. Skandhas are attributes of the personality, and they define the term. In youth, they are powerful. If the person has time to get its attention to the eternal, or be full of high feelings, closer to beauty, closer to goodwill and truth, of course, it will not be as the old heron in a lake without fish. This person will definitely have power of spiritualization of consciousness. As a result, spiritualization of matter, power, and psychic energy. This thought makes us pose our attention to the point that these skandhas shouldn't be our focus. We shouldn't divide our attention into rays, but make only one ray of our will and attain all the opportunities that by power of attraction or wish will be provided to you. It will only be left to you, up to you, to bite this fruit, not green, but it will already be ready for eating. For that, we have the wheel of good law, calendar of time we have behind. It shows the way the very mechanism of time is formulated. It grabs by zodiac, by the 12 constellations, grabs us and transfers step by step. I mean, every god of the sector of zodiac transfers through the Nidana the power of constellation through planets guiding the Nidanas born by these gods of the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 houses of zodiac. Through the way of planetary spirit, they give this or that opportunity to co-sound with the ray. Co-sounding happens if there is similarity. Time lets us be similar to every moment, every minute, every hour, etc. We know that as the combination of skandhas defines the term, please be attentive now, it defines the term why
которая
for the consciousness that will try creating karma. It means that for every consciousness there is a particular term of karma activity. We pose the foundation. If we live by our past, that then we cannot co-sound with the planetary array that is defined by the century for us. There is the century of the white dragon guided by planet Saturn. Saturn is green. The ray is green, I mean. It's the symbol of the form of the thought, of the synthesis. The dragon is wisdom, and the white color is the ether condensate. The ether condensate has a feature to be always ready for revelation. Wisdom of centuries always ready to be revealed with opportunities to make up the form of the thought full of wisdom. That is the option for the humanity for the whole century given by Saturn. Saturn solidifies even more this form of the thought, you know, that is the thought bringing the evolution forward. In order to make it better, we must answer co-sounding with this ray of the space. In the direction of space, where the white dragon is, direction of space with the spirit is the parameter of spirit symbolized by red direction of the space, the constellation in the horoscope, the house of Gemini, is where it's in its natural opportunity of Vayu or air. In the air, the god guiding this Gemini constellation is the blue dragon. You know that this co-sounding of the divine wisdom of the whole zodiac, of the whole 12 constellations affecting the space of these air, symbolizing by itself the moving, the moved, the Vayu element that can make wisdom condensed in the century. This way, the fourth principle of the zodiac sign we have related to Libra, it's the whole power of Libra.
In other words, dragon is the spiritual tutor of manifestation of its wisdom through the thought or the idea of this space of Gemini. It got condensated in the white dragon, and that's why the white dragon has this synthetic thinking ability. Saturn that manages or controls this dragon and the direction of the space, the pranita of the spirit, tell us that only within the spirit the creative processes can happen, or in other words, synthesis, because the spirit permeates everything. All space, it covers all space with its creative fire, and that's how it carries its eternal life and the potentiality that is within the spirit. And the spirit knows it all the knowledge is condensated there. Just imagine the dragon can really use under the Saturn its synthetic thinking, manifesting this whole sector of the zodiac sign by itself as Nidana. And as Saturn, as the planet, as the direction of the space of spirit, and all of that, the combination of all that has the reflection. It's reflected through a human being. That is how the Nidana reflects the humanity in form of the age. This Nidana encompasses the whole age. And during this whole age, we'll be living under these powerful synthesis rays of Saturn. And that's how the humanity probably will learn the creative abilities, learn this knowledge. And also we have the constellation of Sagittarius, and there the fiery dog controls the third fire. The first fire, the second fire is Lion, the third one is Sagittarius. Aries is the first one, and the third one, Sagittarius, is the third Logos. There, the fiery dog, the main divine creature, works or functions as a Nidana. Its significant power in the third fire of spirit. It can manifest from Prometheus that brought its own fire. Prometheus is the entity of the free will. It is of independent nature. Its independent nature is an important characteristic, and the week that we're going through is the week of the white dog. It's also the fourth principle, and it also symbolizes the toughness of personality that got based on the forces of Antinidana, and it's the force that got ripened so that the personality could become enshrined in the space, because the ray under which the dog is controlled by the spirit of the planet is the moon. Moon is the symbol of the space. Just imagine all this astral space improves its or states its personality based on the spiritual forces. It controls the Sagittarius zodiac house. The white dog is in front of the white dragon as the mutual happiness. Just imagine in which powerful energies we are today. The whole age, just in 1 week, gives its wisdom to the personal beginning, or it gives it to the lower Manos, or rather, my apologies, the white dog is the day. So this power is within this day that we're living through, and the connection or the combination can happen in the direction of space. Here we can see the paramita of spirit, the fiery direction of the space. In front of it, we can see there is Budhi, the yellow color, or the so-called earth, the direction of the space that symbolizes the body of Buddha. It's an important aspect. Within this light, and the nidana and personality become enshrined. It's the white dog of today. We can all be within this light, and the field through which the dragon of wisdom goes through. Today it goes through the field, through the white Taurus under the Mars ray, and through the blue goat under the ray of the sun, the energy of creative force, the psychic energy, or love. In other words, we can draw the following conclusion related to this age. Wisdom can be enshrined in a personality in the white dog only when it manifests the blue goat. In other words, love. Only then the central point can be opened up, and it's symbolized by the 6-ray star. And this star has the power of the synthesis, the green light, Saturn, or the universal thought. That's when human beings can get closer to the universal thought and become workers of the cosmos. This is the opportunity hidden in today. You can become this worker, and you can get attuned as a personality with the spatial fire. And personality will create through its thought, touching the spatial fire, the psychic energy. This is the age, the day, and the epoch. We're living through the week of the blue hair, and blue hair is one of the points. I'll get back to the gods a little bit later. Here I mean 12 zodiac signs. Now I'd like to focus on nidanas that are born by these gods. The nidanas talk about the week of the blue hair. It's one of the points of the triangle of the spirit of Theosophy. It includes blue hare, blue boar, and the blue goat. Again, we can see the blue goat, just like in the cross of the wisdom of the white dragon. It's one of the points there. And this week is the week of the hare, of the blue hare, tells us about the triangle of the spirit of Theosophy. Of course, love for knowledge should come only through awakening of the consciousness that is reflected by the boar. And the hare is responsible for the knowledge, and the goat is responsible for love. And this combination leads us to the central point of the law. And again, we're getting back to the universal thought. In other words, any combination of skan gives us possibilities, and human beings have all 12 nidanas in themselves. Our consciousness consists of these points that include pentagram, 6-ray star, 9-ray star, the cross, all points related to the whole cycle, the 60-year wheel of time. That is why we're always within the flow of this cosmic energy. We are always in the tension of these energies, but our tension should be attuned to the tension of the week, of the day, age, epoch, week, month, and so on. We need to coexist with these energies. And it is possible only when we work on ourselves. This is an important aspect that leads us to Sloka 8, stanza 3. In Secret Doctrine, Blavatsky, in her comments, mentions 12 zodiac signs, gods, and gods that give birth to Nidanas. In other words, she starts talking preliminary about the fact that there is the cosmic law that influences everything in this universe, human beings, any object, the whole life that has its manifestations in all forms, starting from elementals to ending with gods. This influence is constant, and this continuity of influence will be studied by us from the standpoint of this germ, where was the germ and where was now darkness? Darkness is our lack of knowledge, and our lack of knowledge was under the great Maya, the illusion, that gave us the external senses, and we use them. And the eternity is based on the reason, on the lower fourfold. That is why, for us, this germ and the place where it was is where the darkness was now. For us, that was darkness, and we cannot see our own germ. We cannot see our essence. We cannot see this light. Why? This light also existed in darkness. Where is the spirit of the flame that burns in the lamp, O Lanoo? The teacher asks the student. It is in the darkness, in the hidden. The germ is that, and that is light, the white, brilliant sun of the dark, hidden Father. It means that everything, this macrocosm, is within us, but we do not feel it, we do not see it, but we can sense it by the open Dogman eye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for this description of the uniqueness of the day, which reflects this 100 years, this age, and of course it's a great opportunity. It's the impetus for the whole upcoming year. This day is in front of Nidano, the white dragon. It's the reflected happiness that gives us the impetus. It's a particular aspect of electricity. This is the influence of today. Of course, we cannot see many aspects of the universe. Many things are not noticed by us, as you mentioned, but attention can be of different nature. The pulse can be different when the electricity influences our attention, and when it influences our pulse, increasing it, then this pulse gets particular characteristic. It's the clearness of understanding. Our ray, we can direct our ray in the right direction to open up what previously was hidden. and anyone having this clearness of electricity influence can sense that all these rays in the space are of electromagnetic nature. They all emanate electricity of various quality, property. But when we concentrate on the best, on the highest, on trust, on trusting all these endless possibilities, then we improve the properties of the pulse. And only then we can manifest this clear understanding. I suggest that today we'll try to delve in Sloka 8 once again and probably try to identify the aspects that we were not able to discuss during the seminars, previous seminars and quizzing. I hope that all these thoughts, all the thoughts that are nourishment for our mind so that it will become agile, we hope that this impetus for agility will happen, and it will be the impetus for the right actions once we get this clear understanding. Stanza 3, Sloka 8. Where was the germ and where was now darkness? Where is the spirit of the flame that burns in the lamp or Lanoo? The germ is that, and that is light, the white brilliant sun, the dark hidden father.
So we will start with the questions established in the stanzas and with the answers established in the same stanzas. The main question of the sloka has the answer in Zion themselves. Where was the germ? The answer is, the germ is that. But how do we understand that? That is understood in the spirit, for in the spirit we are able to explain and understand in symbolic language what is inexpressible and unknowable to the sensory mind. And for the spirit knowledge, it becomes understandable. It means to understand that as the living potential principle, as the reason of light, with no reasons to suffer. One of the key points is to consider a light devoid of the cause of suffering. And that is light, the white brilliant sun of the Father hidden in the dark. The Father hidden in the dark is the potential acting force hidden in the matter, or fire in the waters of space. The Son of the Father is light, white and brilliant. Where was the germ, and what was it like? It's clear that the germ had particular phases. In the beginning, it was a single state. Then in the separation phase, it became dual, then threefold. And then there happened the internal duality of the first three. And the germ turned into the world deck, or into six, sevenfold in its essence. What does it mean? The sevenfold. It's concentration in the central point. Now, it's the nascent phase or rate. It doesn't yet have the power of life, because in this ideal radiance, there is a complete absence of suffering, since there is no reason for it. Let's consider the whole process. How did it happen? What is the process of transformation and changing of the state of the germ? Considering the Secret Doctrine, in the whole Secret Doctrine by today, the germ is mentioned 3 times before this sloka. In the previous slokas, the actions are described in Sloka 6 stanza 2 and Sloka 2 and 3 stanzas 3. Let's see how it was before Sloka 8. That is stanza 2, sloka 6. These two are the germ, and the germ is one. The universe was still concealed in the divine thought and the divine bosom. What does it mean? The germ was single and was hidden in the divine bosom. Stanza 3, sloka 2. How was it revealed? The thrill spreads, touching with a swift wing the whole universe and the germ that dwelleth in the darkness. The darkness that breathes over the waters of life. The thrill, then the separation started. First, it was dual, which corresponds to sloka 2, then threefold corresponded to sloka 3. The thrill is the third force, that is the revelation, one of the key revelations allowed to be made in this sloka. The vibration, the thrill, is the third force. Stanza 3, sloka 3 is darkness radiates light, and the light drops in one solitary ray into the waters, into the depth of the mother's bosom. The ray shoots through the virgin egg. The ray causes the eternal egg to thrill and releases the non-eternal germ, which condenses into the world egg. What do we see here? The germ turned from the third state into six, namely the duality of the first three occurred inside, so the world egg was formed, sevenfold in its essence. Now, the stage corresponds to stanza 3, sloka 8. The eighth state is the state of origin. We can compare it with the 8 months of pregnancy of the woman. It's a well-known fact that the infants born at 7 months can be viable, like those born at 9 months, but the 8-month-old fetus doesn't survive. There's no life force. Some people believe that the 8-month-old fetus doesn't suffer, and therefore it doesn't survive. It's quite interesting, isn't it? It means that the one survives who suffers. Survival gives suffering. This experience is what makes the spirit more developed. That is given to us to overcome all obstacles and leave the suffering for wisdom. The key point, stanza 3, sloka 8, is the state of the space of light that has begun to shine, and in this radiance there is a complete absence of suffering, since there is no reason for it. The germ was that, or the white light, the brilliant sun of the Father hidden in the dark. Where was now darkness? The darkness bowed before the light in its preservation, in its eternal preservation. This is the reason for the future victory in all planes of existence, the victory of light over darkness. As at the very beginning of the universal evolution, darkness was equal to light. Equal. Darkness became equal to light when it completely preserved it. That was the evolutionary necessity for this preservation. The darkness bowed before light. It was in its natural character, father-mother nature. That is the invisible, which is invisible is light, but it requires a combination of father and mother for the light to gain strength, the ability for manifestation. So a light became equal to darkness in this period of evolution. The whole reflection, the ideal reflection took place. Darkness is the source of light. At the very beginning of the universal evolution, darkness became equal to light, and at this moment light marked the victory at all planes of existence, the victory of light over by darkness. This is the evolutionary step in the structure of the universe. Step 8, let's see the whole planes, and at the 8th day, the day is filled with radiant light. That is the victory of light over darkness. That is the causeless lack of causes for suffering, because the light feels everything. As in the new question, Madame Blavatsky of Xi'an asks, where is the spirit of flame burning in thy lamp, Lanoo? We can say that the spirit of the flame was in the darkness and the darkness concealed it. An abstract deity has no name. It's usually called that, Tat in Sanskrit, and means everything that is, was, and will be, or that can be so comprehended by the human mind. It means that I am him is when from I, from the internal state of I, these rays go into the external space to him. What happens then? He is me. That's what happens. The point of space starts revealing the contradictory forces that attain me. As a result, as the two directions of rays are combined, me, I am me, what is there. That is how I become the higher me. The microprosopus become the macroprosopus becomes microprosopus, and the talking microprosopus is the pronounced thought. How it happens? Let's see. He, you, and I correspond, according to Madame Blavatsky, to Hu, Ata, and Ani. The states correspond to 12, 406, and 61. Who, he, 3, you, Ata, 10, me, Ani, 61, 7. As a result, we have heat, 3, you, 10, I, 7. How did 7 come to the existence? From the state of you, 406, 10 as the sum, or the lower planes of being, 4 and 0, with the 4 planes of being and the 4 spheres, and the 6 spheres, pardon, 10 as the sum, we come to 6. The last plane of being, material and formational plane. With the end of the triangle, it gives us the point. That's what 6 says. The 4 planes of being are grouped in 6, or 406 becomes 10, become you. The complete stage takes place. How does 7 come to existence? It's when the 3 higher, he, or macroprosopus, is not revealed. Then at 10 minus 3 we have. As soon as it happens, the talking microprosopus is there. I, or Ani, 61, 7 in sum. Here is the mystical meaning in the representation of the universal bosom depicted as the primordial waters of the abyss. From the commentaries of Madame Blavatsky to the Secret Doctrine, or opening for the acceptance and the successive exodus of the single ray logos containing 7 other rays or creative forces, logo, EU builders. We can call them that. Then we have 0, or the circle. That is the abyss, exodus of the single ray. We have then containing the 7 other rays. He, Purusha, or the spirit, is also Prakriti, or matter. Because only after being divided into 2 halves, Madame Blavatsky says that the male and the female are there. They are defined as Brahma Bhaj and Brahma Viraj in this Sloka. Radiation of the power given life of Prajapati happens. Prajapati in Sanskrit is the progenitor. These are the life givers of everything in the earth. There are 7 of them, and the 10 corresponding to the 7, and the 10 Sephiroth of Kabbalah. Prajapati is the essence of the Sephiroth. As 10 with Brahma, they are diminished to 7. Primordial, the 3 of Kabbalah are separated from them. The 7 builders or creators become the 7 Prajapati, the 7 Rishi in the same order, and the Sephiroth become the progenitors. Occultism defines the limits of number of primary races to 7 races due to the 7 progenitors or Prajapatis, the progenitors of humans. They are neither gods nor supernatural beings, but advanced spirits from another and lower planet, born again on this planet, and in turn having given birth to the current humanity in this circle. The universal essence is incomprehensible and inactive in its absoluteness and can be connected with the construction of the universe only indirectly. In both the primary male-female androgynous principle and its 10 and 7 radiations, Brahma, Viraj, and Aditi Vak on the one hand, and Elohim, Yehovah, and Adam, Adami, Adam Kadmon, and Sephira, Eve on the other. With what? With their Prajapatis or Sephiroth, with their progenitors collectively representing, first of all, the original prototype of man, Prologos. And only in their second aspect do they become cosmic forces and astronomical or celestial bodies. What do we have as the result? The Prajapati is a synthesis of the lords of being. So, Prajapati is Brahma, the creator of everything on this earth. The 7 of 10 of them correspond to the 7 and 10 Sephiroth of Kabbalah. There are 3 groups of degrees of Sephiroth. First, Sephiroth called divine properties abstract. The second group is physical 7 or the stellar Sephiroth, the 10, one group of 7 and the other of 10. The second category and the third category is the metaphysical Sephiroth, or periphrases of Yehovah, which are the first 3 Sephiroth, Keter, Chokmah, and Binah, and the other 7 are personal 7 spirits of presence, also planets. Here is how the deity is revealed. That is the crown. Right now, we consider the groups of Sephiroth. The first one is the divine one, the second one, the physical ones, the 7 ones. The third one is the metaphysical Sephiroth, used being these first 3, and the other, apart from these 3, all the other are the essence, and that is how the deity is revealed. Let's consider what the Sephiroth are. Keter, or the crown. In Yiddish, it's the highest Sephiroth of the tree of life, corresponding to number 1. The fact that the crown is located above the head is usually interpreted as that this sphere lies beyond the understanding of the mind, since it's the closest to the divine world. That is the principal separation from all other Sephiroth. It's non-revealed divine light that should once be revealed. In this Sephiroth, the divine energy is born, then it comes to all other Sephiroth. That's why the tree of life grows from above, not from below. But it's possible to express it with symbols. That's what the Secret Doctrine speaks of. The second Sephiroth is Chokmah, wisdom. The second Sephiroth of the tree of life, corresponding to number 2. The second Sephiroth, Chokmah, is the dynamic 2-dimensional life movement, force stimulating the development of the universe without any stop. That was how the divine universal character and the static character was broken. That is how the individual personality, according to Madame Blavatsky, is born. The Sephiroth is the symbolic father god, Chokmah. means the start of cause and effect chain and the further creation of other Sephiroth. The third Sephiroth, Bina, understanding. The third Sephiroth of the tree of life corresponding to number 3. This word comes from the verb root, meaning to distinguish, to separate, to recognize. Bina perceives, restricts, and gives form to the divine emanation poured out by Chokma. This divine emanation is poured with Chokma. Wisdom is poured, but it requires understanding. Do you get it how all these Sephiroths interact? The fourth one, Chesed, kindness, mercy, love, benevolence, generosity, the full Sephira of the tree of life. The number 4 comes from the verb root, meaning to love, desire, to be merciful. The first Sephira of a manifested and humanized God, the God as we understand it. The 4 is form. The fourth Sephira, Chesed, its kindness or benevolence, the form of God, humanized God as we understand it. Come to the fifth Sephirot, Gebura, severity or strength, fifth Sephirot of the tree of life. Number 5, the name comes from the verb root meaning to be strong, to bind, to strengthen, to be proud. It means that we should have control of the impetus and direct it. And that is the way to create the balance of the divine energy. From Hesed, from love, the divine energy, generosity come, and Gebura is the severity or strength to direct this divine energy. The sixth Sephira is the ferret of beauty, corresponds to number 6. The name comes from the verb root meaning to be beautiful, to be glorified. Air element, and air is the mediator between the created and the creation, and it's unique because it's combined with all the Sephiroth of the tree of life apart from Malkuth. The 7th Sephiroth is Nadzak, or eternity, brilliance, perfection, victory of perseverance. The 7th Sephiroth of the tree of life corresponding to number 7. The name of Sephiroth comes from the verb root meaning to shine, to be bright, to be perfect. The last one, lying in its foundation. Its alive beauty of internal perfection, one of the 4th elements corresponds to it, and that's fire. The 8th Sephiroth, or splendor or glory, is the Sephiroth corresponding to number 8. The verb root is beauty, glory, greatness, corresponds to water element, power dividing energy into different forms apart from each other. This entrance, the glory, the 8 corresponding to Sloka 8, today's stanza, that's what has the power to divide energy into forms separate from each other. We should understand that water is not the lower element, but the crystal clear source of truth. That's how we can understand this glory. We go to the 9th Sephiroth.
Yesod, the foundation, root, the 9th Sephira of the tree of life, corresponding to the number 9. The name of Sephira comes from the verb, the root meaning to find, but to found, to support, to ordain. These this is the astral light, the first step to the spiritual world, the subtle life force inherent in all living beings, and forcing them to behave the way they behave. These are dreams, Efa. And now we move on to Malkuth, or kingdom. Malkuth, kingdom, the 10th last sephira of the tree of life, corresponding to the number 10, means kingdom or palace and comes from the verb root, meaning to rule, to govern, while Ku symbolizes the entire physical world as a whole. This sephira can be considered as the final result of the outpouring of divine power into the manifested world, or a spiritual prototype that has acquired a physical embodiment. These are the 10 sephiras, Sephiroths, that are according to the plane of existence. They have very logical locations. They are the result of this tree of life. And that's how we come to Ein Sof. Ein Sof is referred to as the fiery soul of the pelican in the Book of Numbers, manifesting with each Manvantara as Narayana or Svayambhuva, the self-existent. He penetrates into the world egg, and at the end of the divine incubation proceeds from it as Brahma or Prajapati, the progenitor of the future universe, into which he unfolds. Divine incubation is pralaya. It will last until the start of Manvantara, and the period of divine incubation lasts according to Maha Manvantara. Manvantara, human life. The period can be completely different, but their essence remains the same until consciousness awakens. Ein Sof, there is the awakener of consciousness. The next key point in our study of the Sloka. He is Purusha or spirit, but he is also Prakriti, matter, and therefore only after his division into two halves, into Brahma Vak, the feminine, and Brahma Viraj, the masculine, Prajapati becomes a male Brahma, and life appears through the ray. The ray is the union of spirit and matter, for this is life. How does this union occur? I am he as part of the one. He is me. In the one there is everything. I am me. The highest state when I merges with the one. Let's look at the correspondence. By Blavatsky, darkness is light, light is darkness, light is light. Germ or electricity, alive. I am he as part of the union, just like light is darkness. Light is darkness, I am me. I merges with the one, and light becomes light, or the germ, electricity, life. I am me, light is light, it's paranishpana or paranirvana state, or the state of mind that has completed its subsequent Manvantarian cycle. The shadows protecting the dazzling light scattered, dissolved by the force of the spirit, and it can be said that another step has been mastered. What is this step? The next key point. The 8th step is the light, the white shining sun of the Father, hidden in the darkness. White light is manifested in the physical world by the purity of consciousness. Upon reaching the highest spirituality, the aura falls into a ring and begins to glow, forming crystals. It's the light that passes through cosmic dust by 3 elements, entering and exiting the fabric of light. And the next key point is the following. The Father had a son in an unmanifested state, and when the sun appears, he becomes a shining light. He can enter and exit the fabric with light. He is 7, his movement is 8. To get a clear idea of this, it's necessary, first of all, to assume the premise of all-pervading, omnipresent, eternal deity in nature, and secondly, to penetrate into the mystery of electricity, into its true essence, and thirdly, to assume that man is a sevenfold symbol on the earthly plane of a single great unit, the Logos, which itself is a 7-vowel sign, a breath crystallized into a word. Man is a sevenfold symbol on the earthly plane of the single great unit, the Logos, which itself is a 7-vowel sign, the breath crystallized into the world. Conclusion: the single ray in its movement in space as it passes is colored in different qualities. These are the creative forces. There are 7 of them. Each of the 7 rays differs in the quality of sound, color, and light, but consonance occurs only when everything merges into a single state and harmony is created, a great unit, logos, breath, which crystallizes into a word. And this word is love, in the single manifestation of the single ray. It's the synthesis of the highest and the lowest, the manifested and unmanifested. The symbol 8 corresponds to Sloka 8, and this ray affects the entire space, like the wing of the Kalahamsa bird. Unknowable darkness, whirlwind, etc. It's also called, it is from Kalahamsa or Kalahamsa. The word Hanso Hamsa represents a similar case. Hamsa is the equivalent of Ahamsa, 3 words meaning I am he. Divided in another way, it will be read as so hum, or he is me. In this one word, for someone who understands the language of wisdom, lies the world mystery, the doctrine of the identity of human nature with the divine nature. Hence the glyph, the allegory of Kalahanso Hamsa, and the name given to Brahman, unmanifested, and later to the male Brahman. Hamsa Vahana, he who uses Hamsa as his cart. The same word can be read as Kalahamsa or I am I in the eternity of time, corresponding to the biblical expression, or rather that of Zoroaster, I am what I am. Kalahamsa is Brahma or Parabrahman, the swan within and outside of time. Brahma, male, is called Hansa Vahana, the chariot of the swan. Then the symbol of Hamsa, whether its meaning is I, he, various religions, goose, swan, it's an important symbol depicting, among other things, the divine wisdom, wisdom in darkness beyond human reach. For all esoteric purposes, the Hamsa is as every Hindu knows, is a legendary bird that, when given in allegory, milk mixed with water for food, separated them by drinking milk and leaving water, thereby showing its inherent wisdom, milk being a symbol of spirit and water of matter. The fact that this allegory is very ancient and belongs to the earliest archaic period is proven by the mention in the Bhagavata Purana of a certain caste called Hamsa or Hansa, which was a single caste, par excellence when in distant times in the fog of the forgotten past. Among the Hindus, there was only one Veda, one deity, one caste. Just imagine, in these ancient times among Hindus, there was only one Veda, one caste, one deity, and it is one of the symbols. In our times, a mountain range in the Himalayas, described in old books, is located in the north of the Meru Peak, called Hamsa, and associated with episodes related to the history of religious mysteries and initiations, as for Kalahamsa, as the supposed bearer of Brahma. Prajapati, in esoteric texts and translations of Orientalists, this is a mistake. Brahman, the unmanifested, is called by them Kalahamsa, and Brahma, the masculine principle, Hamsa Vahana, for truly his bearer is a swan or a goose. And this is purely esoteric interpretation. If esoterically and logically, Brahman, the infinite, is everything that is described by Orientalists according to the Vedantic texts. He is an abstract deity without attributing any human properties to him. And at the same time, it is claimed that he, or it is called Kalahamsa, then how can he become the Vahan of Brahma, the manifested and the finite God? The swan of goose is a symbol of a male of temperate deity, Brahma, and emanation of the primordial body. Therefore, it is Brahma who is Kalahamsa, and Ray is Hamsa Vahana. The key point: the ray is the Vahana, or carrier of the world substance. What does the world substance create? The universal substance forms nodes and passes through the stage of the sun, comet, planet, until it finally turns into a dead body or the moon. Suns are also different. The sun of the solar system is only a reflection. It's the future of light that will get manifested in its own cycle. These are like grains in the space. Planets, suns, solar systems, and galaxies certainly affect human beings, and without that, we cannot evolve. The nodes and future worlds ready to receive the creative forces or Logon, the builders of the universe, the course of the human evolution. The change of the state of the universal substance of the world's matter that goes through the stages of the sun. The sun of our solar system is only a reflection of the sun, and at the end of Manvantara, it will give less and less heat. This is due to the changes in the real sun at the end of the Manvantara. At the end of the solar Manvantara, it will become less and less radiant and will give less and less heat due to the changes in the real sun, the reflection of which is the visible sun. When the sun begins to give off less and less heat, and this is a natural process, like inhale and exhale, like life and death. It's just that everything has its time, and according to its time, the form that contained this or that life is also changing. After the solar pralaya, the current sun will turn into the cometary body. But of course, this will not happen during the life of our small planetary chain. The arguments given on the basis of spectral stellar analysis cannot be considered valid, as the passage of life through cosmic dust is not taken into account. And this doesn't mean that there is no difference at all between the spectra of stars, but only means that the conclusion was made as a result of modification of the rays of this star by cosmic dust which surrounds the Earth. And there is a widespread misconception, which for the occultist is the biggest misconception. A distinction is made between what is called animate and inanimate objects, as if an absolutely inanimate object could exist on Earth. In reality, even the one who's called dead is more alive than ever. From a certain point of view, the distinction between that which is called organic and inorganic is made in accordance with the presence of the function of nutrition. But if there were no nutrition, how can bodies which are called inorganic be subject to change? Even crystals have a growth process that corresponds to their nutritional function. In fact, as occult philosophy teaches us, everything that changes is organic, and it has a vital principle, and it has all the possibilities of a high life. If we say that everything in nature is an aspect of one element and life is universal, how can there be an inorganic atom? The conclusion is that an atom is a germ that changes its state constantly. Where was the germ and where was darkness now? Where is the spirit of the flame that burns in thy lamp, O Lanoo? The germ is that, and that is light, and white brilliant sun of the dark is hidden. The germ was in the darkness as a potentially active force, as the sun of the Father is a brilliant white light. The darkness was in the light as the reason for its appearance and the spirit of the future. The form is the manifestation, but the form must be put on the balance scale. And the balance scale are the state of the 8 corresponding to the period of evolution of the 8 Sloka, when this balance scale was created. And when a person appears, the balance is disturbed accordingly, and suffering ensues. According to Kala Chakra, in the previous page of the presentation, we saw the sector that was manifested when the human being appeared. we can see sector 8. It's the sector of Gemini. We know the principles of Gemini according to Kala Chakra. If we look at the figures, we'll see that 31 is rooster, the red rooster is the word that's crystallized. The word is love. The principle 32, yellow dog, divine intuition, affirmation, and wisdom. 33, the yellow ball is a manifestation of wisdom, a manifestation of wise consciousness. 34, white mouse, completion of karma, completion of accumulation, completing movement. 35, white bull, completion of the implementation. The sum of nidanas, nidana numbers, is responsible for the balance that was in the state of 8, potentially before the human being appeared, but disrupted this balance. The sum of the nidana numbers equals 165, which is 12 nidanas, 12 causes of suffering. The key point: completion of the 7th sector before the 8th step, the appearance of man who will upset the balance scales with the appearance of suffering. The vital principle was in the germ. In the darkness, it is hidden as the spirit of the flame is hidden in the lamp. At the stage of Sloka 8, the life principle is that the cause of the light carried the void of the cause of suffering. The conclusions. The reason for light is in evolution itself. During the period of the beginning, the reason has not yet been created because everything was in a causeless state of that. Human beings disrupt the balance by suffering, and the suffering turns into the creative path. Then a single white sound will appear, which will make up the pattern of eternity, or 8. This single white sound is step 8. It's the white radiant light that connected all 7 planes of existence without the cause of suffering. Thank you. Thank you for listening to some of our thoughts. We have received a number of questions and we've got time to answer questions. Thank you for being active. Thank you for asking your questions. And I'd like to reiterate one thought related to the nourishment and to organic and inorganic elements. Everything is alive. And this agile mind that can think in this higher world, this world is getting closer to us through nourishment, through creating this clearness by the rays. This is the connection of the opposites. This is the ray, the great synthesis. This ray creates clearness. As a light, it dissolves this darkness of lack of knowledge. The state of 8, this is the symbol of the eternal movement. Why? We cannot understand the absolute, we can understand only the reflection of that in its movement, endless movement of the ray. In its constant work, human being can become spiritual and can become closer to the highest. This is January, and January is the beginning of the year. I've just come across a book. The sun moves towards the north. This is the title of the book, and Collins, the author, says that January is the beginning, and January is dedicated to love. And it just occurred to me that even our visualization of Shloka 8, this eternity that is love and that is the beginning, it has all 7 colors of all 7 rays, 7 planes of existence. It connects all that. And it gives us the opportunity to understand it and to penetrate this higher world. We've received a question of Vladimir. Please help me. First question is the following. Metaphysical transcendentic problem. According to the comments of Blavatsky, how can it be solved? Blavatsky explains everything clearly. I will only add that we need to have love for the absolute truth. If we have this love, then everything that Elena Petrovna is talking about will become clear. In other words, we will understand what light is in the darkness and how it unleashes its potential. This notion, transcendental metaphysical problem, what problem are we talking about here? Transcendentality needs the penetration into the nature of the mind. And it is the reason why a human being can learn to think, can learn thinking processes, and opening up the abilities of learning of human beings. That is how we can solve this issue. Question 2 of the sacred nature. This is the question that many people ask us. I don't know why this question is important.
How can we comprehend that, is the question. That can be comprehended by this, I would answer, because there is a lot of similarity and accordance of higher and the lower, revealed and not revealed. By understanding our body, ourself, we get to know that the reason. Who is the one using Hamsa as its carriage? In the presentation, we were trying to make the parallel quite clearly with several understandings, with one concept, making them one. What is the carriage, the ray, Vahana, Hamsa, Kalahamsa, how it's connected to Brahman, Parabrahman, and how it's connected to the way to guide this carriage, the one using this Hamsa as the carriage, guiding it, is the higher mind. The revealed mind is the Vahana, or the conductor. Is the lower flexible manas when the higher manas guides it. I have one more supplement that I've told you about. Mr. Yari, please. We can say that the ray is that transferring the energy. And here, it's Hamsa, carrier of the idea, essence, of bringing it into life. The conductor is actually the human being, having everything that could make the higher powers reveal. Thank you so much. The next question is quite deep and serious one. What are the reasons that the darkness cannot be understood? Following the thought of Buddha, I can say only ignorance closes consciousness of this darkness. I just thought what the cause could be for the darkness to be non-understandable. We will not understand it as it was no light, nothing to be used to get to know. No light, no human being, nobody to get to know, as light was not revealed. Here is the cause. The cause so that the darkness cannot be understood is lack of light, lack of wisdom. But wisdom is revealed after suffering. There was no suffering, though. There was no light, and the human being was not born. No suffering was there. Only the eternal darkness. Only we need light to understand the darkness. The light can get to know the darkness. Probably it sounds beautifully. Let's stop with that. The next question. What is the prerequisite for the ever-penetrating, ever-existing deity in nature? What is this deity? It's not explained, but let's try. Breathing of life that is everywhere penetrates everything. In this life, there is everything. What is the prerequisite of the ever-penetrating, ever-existing deity? The prerequisite is darkness. According to Sloka 8, let's not get too deep there, being back in the concept of the 8th Sloka. We also have the WhatsApp question. I'll read it out loud from the participant. Darkness bowed against the light. What does it mean to bow against? And why is the bowing so important in the East? To bow is to accept, to become it. But in the East, bowing means respect. If we are light, but only love can give birth to respect and bowing. The top point at the Kala chakra, the sun, is where we start. We go along nidanas and the circles from above to below. It's actually bowing from above to below, in bowing in front of the higher, in accepting the higher. Here is the answer. The next question. So, what is the way of process of crystallizing the breathing? It's emanation. The emanation and radiation. Radiation is crystallization. Radiation is the word. Emanation is before the word sounds. From noumenon, the emanation happens. I just thought that that is the process, the complicated process, not a single moment, a process defined with periods, with eons and eons of years. The breathing is crystallized the same way the universe is is constructed and a human being is born, it's crystallized into word. The word is the speaking Macroprosopus, and the voice and the logos should be born for the word to be. Logos or movement of this breathing is there. It means that the breathing was there, and breathing is the life impotence. Then the universe starts breathing and periods start changing one another, inhalation, exhalation. It's how the single space is divided into periods. But how and when does it become form of the word? When it starts sounding? How can the thought sound? It's the cosmos. What is the voice? The human voice is the miracle, we say, because it can be revealed as music, as sound, as rhyme, as colors, light. The word can create and destroy. The word brings the great energy because it's the form of the thought. In order for breathing to be crystallized, we need the human being. As the human being is there, crystallization happens of this breathing. It's crystallized with a word through the human being. At the beginning, the cosmic human being said, according as macrocosm to the macrocosm where microcosm. Something happened and the human being started crying, screaming, being ready for crystallization of the word. And we're waiting for this moment. The voice itself is probably this combination of the revealed and non-revealed. The logos or the word combines the revealed and non-revealed, and that is how the human being is expressed through this form. That's why we should follow our thought, our word, and our action. We should follow and monitor what we give birth to. Thank you so much for participating so actively today, having time for questions as you're listening to what we are talking about today. In this day, they are not simple, quite complicated. It is for me to follow the thought, but I thought that we can only follow it if we have full trust. With this absolute trust, it's quite easy to follow the thought. You just become the thought. It doesn't matter who pronounces it. There is no contradiction. There is no first thought that it's not true, that it's probably how I would say. Just the very thought that everything is ready, that you probably don't know something, gives the great opportunity to follow the thought. As you follow, you formulate it with your own images, every image that the mind starts formulating, and the flexible mind in action gives birth to the thought, and it's energized. It's a great responsibility for creating these images. If they implement it so speedily. At school, you said that at this time, the subtle world materializes itself. You just touched upon it, and it's revealed here and now. That's great. No time it was. when it would be possible. As we follow the thought, and everyone gives birth to its images, then the images single and the ever-penetrating essence that can be expanded till forever, with heart, with light, with heat, and with the sharp intellect we can expand it, giving the heart gives direction to the intellect, and the flexible mind starts revitalizing the consciousness. And this thought will never become dividing or contradictory. You just start hearing what you have never thought of. You start seeing what you have never seen. You just never approach to it. And there is no limit, as limitless powers of the human organism that are revelations of the mind, till every cell becomes mindful. There are billions and billions of these cells, and they are various, but if it's so beautiful and harmonious that can be similar to these revelations of mind, then we open up these 7 creative powers, have this constructive material, then the human being starts construction of its own world, starts seeing this world in a different manner, starts constructing, and the world becomes single. Here is the thought I have.
This was the answer to how the breath of the word can be crystallized. As you can see, the thought travels. This is a very unusual shloka 8, 8 meaning eternity, endlessness. Who sets the limits of what a human being can reach? As you can see, we've been discussing almost the same thing. Well, there are several pieces. The main cycle, which is related to globe 4, the Earth. Of fifth race is the cycle of the development. It has its influence, and the human being too sets these limits. But according to the cosmic law, the cycle that is given for the development of each of that race predetermines this possibility. Thank you. The limits of what can be reached are set only by the human beings themselves. No one else can set these limits because there are no limits that can be reached. They are limitless, and humans who have lack of trust, who do not believe some thoughts, because of that they can set the limits of what can be reached. But if a human being unleashes these 5 creative forces that we were talking about and turns into this Macroprosopus, this talking Macroprosopus, he can identify with the Macroprosopus. Cosmos is the unsaid thought, but human beings can pronounce cosmos. Space can give form to it and can dissolve the limit and become endlessness. And the word Kalahamsa or Brahma are also limited by the cycle. We've omitted one detail. Kalahamsa, in its essence, is the great time. In its duration. It has its beginning phase, the exhale and inhale, and its completion, the completion of the cycle and the beginning of the next cycle. But human beings have the same ability to live according with the time. And within a particular time, human beings can use all the possibilities. And everything depends on the humans, and they become Hamsa Mahana, and they control and manage this card themselves. Kala turns into Kala Chakra, or the point of the time, the point that goes into the endlessness. We've got some more questions, and we have time to answer them. The waters of the void, what are they? The waters of the abyss are the bosom of the mother. They're the depth and the bosom, the womb. That is what I agree with. This is darkness. And all the questions that we've received today, they identify with Shloka 8. Zian says a lot about that. Comments also say a lot about that. These waters are the darkness that existed before a time when it turns into these waters of the abyss. The darkness also needs to become these waters. And only after that, within this water of the abyss, something starts. And what starts there? The eternity. There are many periods of time. Some of the periods of time cannot be divided into phases into the eternity, but the eternity can be divided into various phases. If there are any comments, you can add. Also, you can look at it from another point of view, because the eternity itself and the abyss and all the rest is located in this depth, and the darkness and everything is there in the womb itself. Just an additional thought. Thank you. It's the darkness that are these waters of the abyss. The next question requires our concentration. The question is, what makes light in Shloka 3 different from the light in Shloka 8? In Shloka 3, we read the lone ray was dropped into the waters, but here we've got the white radiant light of the sun. In Shloka 3, the darkness emanates light, and the light drops a lonely ray into the water. It's important to note that this surpasses Shloka 8. In Shloka 3 says that the darkness emanates light, and only after that the light drops a lonely ray. And Shloka 8 we read, and that is light. So it explains what light we're talking about. The white, the radiant light. Son of the Father of the hidden, they are different. So here we've got the explanation of what light we're talking about. Shloka 8 explains us what light we're talking about, and this light is white and radiant. These are two faces. In Shloka 3, when darkness emanates light and light drops a lonely ray into the waters, it's the force that gives the impetus. It manifests and it starts the first movement. And Shloka 8 describes the germ. And this is the key point here. The description of the germ of this particular state, the potentiality of the light for the future of the universe. These are different phases. The one in Shloka 3 is the potential force that encourages and gives impetus to the manifestation, to the light that concentrates within the germ. In Shloka 3, we can see only the first emanation as the impetus, as the impulse. Indeed, I'd like to add, I agree with the thought related to the impetus, but at first we also have the emanation of noumen. And what we're reading in Shloka 8 says that this is the noumen of another process. We have the bright light, the forces already exist within. This is the phenomenon of the noumen. So this is the difference. One impetus is the noumen, and the phenomenon is in Shloka 8. The cause, in other words, like the original cause. Another question. The comments say behind Aleph, letter mainly who, we can see Yod and He letters. These are the symbols of 5 and 6, the male and female origins that are in line with the pentagram. And the question is, why 6 and 5 symbolize male and female origin? Six and 5 are symbols of female and male origins. Because once this division took place, the division of the origin of the matter and the spirit, the division into male and female origin. The evolution has the powers, the forces that need to emanate. And emanation will give impetus to differentiation. It also occurred to me that we didn't discuss this point, although we discussed Shloka or studied Shloka 8 or 3 times already, and it's great that there are some points that we haven't discussed, because for those who are going to watch the recording of this seminar, will be able to find answers to their questions. So this is, in other words, learning about and studying our own abilities. We didn't touch upon this question, this pentagram. And what is the form of the hexagon? It's the space where a human being is born. The male origin is the impetus of this birth, or the spirit, and the female origin is the acceptance of this impetus, which is the matter. In other words, there are 6 directions of the space. Human beings are divided between these 2 directions. And hexagon is formed based on the pentagram, and the symbol pentagram is a human being. Human being unites female and male origin. It's 6 and 5. This is the image that came to my mind. this is the answer. Friends, we've answered all the questions that we've received for today. We even had time to answer your questions, and I think we had a very useful research seminar. And only because you had the questions related to the topic that we didn't touch upon today, it means that you are following the thought, that you are following this topic, and it means that we're working together. And it's amazing that it is possible. We also wanted to touch upon another thought today. When we form this ray, when these opposites get connected, these opposites should be in line. When they get attuned, then we can see a wave. When the opposites get attuned, the wave is formed, and this wave can ascend human beings to the endless image, and this endless image is love. And this association is very similar to the following image. We have two legs, two arms, and that's how we can be divided into two opposite forms, and then we connect to our two legs, our two arms into one state. So we connect these opposites. We connect, these opposites connect to ascend a human being, and a human being ascends. So this is the ray. A human turns into a ray that goes into the eternity. Today's seminar was dedicated to a number of aspects related to hidden symbols in Sloka 3 and 8, stanza 3. They will become the foundation for further shlokas of stanza 3. These are amazing shlokas, and next we'll meet on January the 27th, and we would like to stay within these energies, because the questions that you sent us, your feedback, your emails that we receive, they prove that these thoughts are in demand. People are striving and trying to reach these thoughts because they need the foundation. And I've also noticed that the number of views of the online seminars have increased. And it means that there is something that human beings are trying to connect to, and it can be helpful in our gray routine days, in our gray everyday life. And I guess this is the main purpose, contribution of these seminars. And I don't know many people, many participants in person, offline, and there's the notion, the warriors of the mystical army, they are never manifested together. They never speak human language with each other, but at the same time, they are hand to hand. They're standing hand to hand, and they are the mystical army of the warriors. It's a very interesting mystery that I'd like to use to conclude this seminar. It will be food for thought. Who are this army? Who are these warriors who are never manifested together, who never speak the human language together with each other, but they're always standing together, hand in hand. And I'd like to wish all of you in the new 2024 to be able to stand hand in hand with the higher, with the light, with the clean energy that is, and to be full of gratitude respect and to be able to apply it in our life, in this system, in this rhythm, in this pace. Every minute should be filled with work, and only then, when we are in this flow, we can stand hand in hand together. Thank you so much. Thank you, interpreters. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying with us till the end of the seminar. Thank you for your likes, for your reactions. Thank you for being active and asking questions and sending your feedback and comments. See you in on January the 27th. We'll continue studying the systematic study of the Secret Doctrine, Light and Love.
The Secret Doctrine by Blavatsky. Dedicated to all true Theosophists. Book of the Third Millennium.
Blavatsky only knew.